Okay, so we'll get started. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this organized section officer information session. My name is Casey Harrigan, and I am the Director of Member Services at APSA. Also on the call today, we have Ashley Van Bunte, Senior Director of Meetings and Events, and Brenna Dames, Member Services Program Associate. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the Q&A feature rather than the chat. It's easier for us to monitor and be able to ensure that we answer each question. Brenna will be monitoring the questions throughout the session. There will also be time for questions at the end of the presentation. We are recording this and will post it to the section officer's webpage once it is edited for circulation. Our agenda for this morning will be to review the process for submitting payment requests, how to access your member roster, preparing for the upcoming section officer transition, a review of the upcoming important dates. Ashley will then be providing an overview and updates for the annual meeting. Finally, we will be here to answer any additional questions that you may have that did not come up. So, as a reminder, all award payments, payment requests, and reimbursements are processed by the APSA Finance Department. In order to submit a request, the section treasurer must submit the following items: a payment request form, an invoice, receipt, or supporting document, such as an announcement of the award recipient, and a W-9 or W-8 BEN for international members. Then that should be for the payee. These forms are all available on the First Section Officers and Organizers webpage on the apsanet.org site. We are asking that all fiscal year 2021 payment requests be submitted by October 31st, 2021 to ensure enough time for them to be processed before the close of the fiscal year. All current section officers have access to download their section rosters once logged into their apsanet.org account. Once logged in, rosters can be downloaded from the First Section Officers and Organizers webpage. Section rosters include all current section member contact information, as well as whether they are a student or professional member. As a reminder, please do not share, rent, or trade member lists with any other associations, groups, or organized sections. If you're directed to a blank page once you follow these instructions, please contact us at membership and we'll be able to update your permissions and make sure that you do have access to the correct list. So as we lead up to the officer transition, we want to just prepare you and make a few reminders for how you should transition these new roles. The 2021-2022 section officer term will run from October 3rd, 2021 through September 18th, 2022. Prior to this time, please schedule a time with the incoming officers to share the most recent financial information and account totals. We're happy to provide updated information if needed. Please just email us at membership and we can send that over to you. We also ask that you share the current section bylaws with the incoming officers. A lot of times there are changes to these over the years, and sometimes the most recent copies don't get passed along. Any bylaws updates should also be sent over to membership at apsanet.org so we can keep these on file and share with the sections if there are any questions. Once the new officers are in place, please determine who will be responsible for completing the 2021-2022 section update form. The update form will be circulated to the 2020-2021 section chairs shortly after the conclusion of the annual meeting, and we ask that it be returned back to membership by October 31st of 2021. The update form will ask for any dues changes that were made at the annual meeting at your business meetings, the names, affiliations, and email addresses of the incoming chair, treasurer, secretaries, and any additional positions that your section may have, as well as the 2021 to 2022 award committee members and nomination deadlines. Once received, we update each section's webpage on apsanet.org, and we'll also submit all of this information to appear in our new member magazine, Political Science Today. Sections that have their own microsites through APSA Connect are responsible for updating any of that information on their own. If you need your permissions to be updated on APSA Connect for your APSA microsite, or if those should be handed over to a new individual, please email communications@apsanet.org and they can make those updates for you. Some important upcoming dates that we just want you to keep in mind. As I said, October 31st, 2021 is when we ask all fiscal year 2021 payment requests to be submitted to our finance department. October 31st is also the date that we're asking for the update form to be returned to membership@apsanet.org. November 18th, 2021 is when we're currently planning to have our 2021-2022 Organized Section Officer Orientation webinar. This will include a presentation by APSA's Executive Director, Stephen Rathgeb-Smith, as well as our meetings, membership, publications, and finance departments. June 15th, 2022 is when the 2022 Organized Section Award recipient information will be due back to membership@apsanet.org. That information then gets posted on each section's webpage, in the program, as well as in Political Science Today. Due to all those deadlines that we have for those prints, please keep the June 15th deadline in mind when you're setting your nomination deadlines this fall. And then September 14th to September 18th, 2022 is when we will have our 2022 annual meeting in Montreal. We will be circulating information about any on-site Organized Section Officer events that we do plan on hosting while we're there. Before I hand it over to Ashley to talk more about the annual meeting, I did want to highlight the APSA Ombuds. While they will not be on site at the annual meeting this year, they will be available for virtual phone consultations, and they're open to speaking with any committees, organized sections, or caucuses that feel like they're facing challenges and would like some advice on. So this is a great resource, and if you have any other questions, we're happy to provide further information about them. They can be emailed at apsaombuds@gmail.com to set up an appointment during the meeting. So I will now turn it over to Ashley Vandebunte, Senior Director of Meetings and Events, to share some updates and information on the APSA annual meeting.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Of course, you all know we are doing an in-person meeting with a virtual component coming up here. Casey, if you can flip to the first slide, that'd be great. So the platform we plan to open to attendees the week of September 13. That way they can kind of look around the site and get a feel for what that platform will look like. Within the platform, there will be Zoom meeting rooms because we know everyone's familiar with Zoom and how to use those session rooms. So most people should be pretty familiar with how to operate a session and once they've accessed it from the platform. That said, we will be doing 2 live trainings, one on September 15 at 2 p.m. and then one on September 16 at 11 a.m. These will be available on demand after the meeting or after the trainings for people to access at their leisure. We have a register here link for them on our website currently on the virtual meeting participation page, and we'll also be including them in an email going out soon. So that said, the meeting actually kicks off a little early this year because we have some virtual business meetings and receptions taking place starting Tuesday, September 21 through Friday, September 24. We encourage sections this year to hold their business meetings the week before. That way anybody could participate, whether they were a virtual attendee or an in-person attendee. So the majority of the section business meetings will be that week. There are some virtual meetings and receptions the week of the conference, which starts, the conference officially starts with programming virtually on September 28, which is a Tuesday. We also have, of course, our in-person business meetings and receptions as well on site. So the official dates of the virtual meeting are going to be September 28, which is a Tuesday, through Sunday, October 3. And those are panels. Again, we're starting the business meetings and receptions. Some of those will be starting on September 21st even. The in-person meeting will run from Thursday, September 30th through October 3. And then there will be short courses, of course, in person on Wednesday, September 29. Next slide, please. A few notes on the day-to-day schedule. All panel times are in Pacific time in the All Academic platform. When you use our virtual platform, it will adjust to your current time zone. And I believe even in All Academic, you have the option to set it to your own time zone as well. In-person sessions will be Thursday through Saturday with panels at 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 4 p.m. And then Sunday, we're switching up the schedule a little bit based on space availability at the hotels. So Sunday panels for in-person will be 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And then virtual, of course, again, is Tuesday through Saturday with panels at 6 a.m., 10 a.m., and 2 p.m., of course, Pacific. And Sunday, we have panels at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 2 p.m. Next slide. These are just a few of the program highlights. I won't read through all of them here because they're on our website and there's a lot of details here, as you can see. But it's a good place to check if you want to see some of the high level events that we're having. You can see we have some special mini conferences this year. We have our new member breakfast, which we've had every year that we've been in person for the last few years. It's a good way to welcome people. And then the award ceremony on Wednesday night will be a little bit different. We are allowing for a virtual viewing for attendees. So our virtual members will be able to view the recording online, and then we'll be hosting an in-person reception as well for the 2020 and 2021 award winners. And that will be an invite-only reception. And then, of course, the career fair and coffee will be in our exhibit hall at 2 p.m. on Thursday. It's kind of another new thing we're doing. Next slide, please. Just a few of our plenaries here. Of course, we have our presidential address. We have U.S. Election Assistance Commissioner Thomas Hicks will be giving an address. We are doing our lightning rounds again, which I'll get into a little bit more later. Next slide. And then we have TLC at APSA, which is that full day mini conference we do on Saturday. We have a graduate student information fair, which will be virtual. And then we do a little graduate student happy hour on Saturday night. And of course, we do have one more plenary address that day, and that will be with Dr. Scott Page. And something that's not on here that we're just in the process of confirming is Congresswoman Robin Kelly will be giving some remarks as well. So I have mentioned a couple of these special formats when we just went through those, but just to kind of talk about some new things we're doing some live streaming. So essentially what this looks like is we'll be taking in-person sessions in Seattle, and we'll be basically just streaming those in real time to the virtual platform for virtual attendees to see. I think there's about 27 of those right now. And so those will be available on the platform for virtual attendees and to the in-person audience in Seattle. And then, of course, they will be recorded for so that people can watch them on demand for up to 6 months. Given all the uncertainty and changing circumstances in the world right now, we did develop an opportunity for pre-recorded presentations. This is basically for anyone who can no longer attend in person in Seattle. Just with having such a large and complex meeting, it's difficult to change everybody's panel format at the last minute. So this allows them to record their presentation, and it will be posted to the virtual platform. It's a nice feature. It has a session feedback box so that people can watch the presentation, provide feedback, give comments on it. And then our goal is for when it's a one-off presenter who has done it on a panel is that the discussants in those panels will watch it in advance, provide any feedback then, but then take that recording and that paper and integrate it into their discussion on site as well, and then bring back any comments from on site to that pre-recorded presenter. So we're very excited about this opportunity. I think we have about 50 people already signed up. Some people have also opted to do a full panel recording as well, and that's certainly an option. You just have to work on the logistics of getting the papers out if it's a paper panel in advance for those discussants to review. The deadline for this is September 16. We did just extend it. Unfortunately, I don't know that I can extend it much past that because we do have to, again, give time for those discussants to review the presentations and develop their comments and things. And of course, the meeting starts on September 21st with some business meetings. Lightning rounds, this will be our second year doing this. We started it last year and it was a really successful meeting or session for our attendees. They're mostly graduate students and undergraduate students, mostly presenting their research in 5 minutes followed by 5 minutes of comments and questions from the discussant and panelists. We have 3 graduate student ones this year, 1 undergraduate, and 1 research design one. 2 of the 3 graduate students are virtual. There is 1 in person there, and then the undergraduate research design are all virtual as well. We have our iPosters. Those will be virtual again as well. There will be an opportunity for the iPoster presenters to schedule a live text chat, and we ask them to schedule this during their division's scheduled time slot so that all their division posters are going at the same time. They're also welcome to schedule additional times if they'd like, and you can provide feedback on those posters before, during, and after the event. And then many conferences, I mentioned a couple of those in the program highlights. Generally, those are a series of sessions throughout a day, and in this case, this year, they do sometimes in the virtual environment span 2 days just because of how the time slots work. So we have, I think, 6 or 7 of those this year. Okay, next slide, please. Just to kind of tell you a little bit more about what to expect in terms of experience, depending on what sort of registration an individual selects. Virtual experience, all registered attendees, virtual and in person, have access to the virtual platform. They'll all get access the week of September 13th. All virtual panels are going to be recorded unless a presenter opts out. Different from last year, if a presenter opts out, we do have to take the whole panel down. It was a lot of editing last year to just edit out one presenter. So we've opted to just not post the recorded presentation if someone opts out. Again, recordings are available for 6 months after. We have 25 sessions that will be live streamed from Seattle to the platform. We talked a little bit already about how the Zoom session rooms will be the meeting rooms on the platform. There is a new peer-to-peer chat feature that will be nice. Feasibly, an in-person attendee can be chatting with a virtual person through the platform if they want to. And there's also a create your own schedule feature, which we're working on wrapping up right now, which will be nice. You can create it within the platform. And then, of course, our virtual exhibit hall will be back with a number of exhibitors and sponsors, and you can interact with them on there as well. Next slide, please. So the in-person experience, we're very excited about. We've put a lot of planning into this to make sure it's a safe and healthy event. You'll have access to all the in-person panels, business meetings, and receptions. And of course, as I just mentioned, you'd have access to all those virtual sessions as well. Some of the safety things we're doing, I'll get into shortly, but we do have the in-person exhibit hall. We added widened one-way aisles to help spread out in the hall. And Casey, you want to move to the next slide? I'll just dive right into all our health and safety stuff. We're working with an experienced health and safety partner, Safe Expo, the venues, and of course the state of Washington, looking at CDC guidance, World Health Organization guidance for proceeding. We did just change our attendance policy to be that you have to be fully vaccinated in order to attend. What fully vaccinated means is you must have received your last shot within 14 days must have passed since you received your final dose. We do accept international proof of attendance. I would suggest you upload that in advance. The international proof of vaccination is based off the World Health Organization guidance of approved vaccines. The deadline for the final dose in order to be able to attend is September 15 roughly. And then the deadline for uploading is September 24. If somebody does not feel comfortable uploading, they're welcome to bring it on site and show it. Again, if you have an international, I would just confirm that in advance, or if you have any questions about the dates or your documentation in general, they can be reached at ambassador@safeexpo.org, and they can confirm that all for you in advance. So how that process kind of looks on site is that you will have, if you haven't done it already, you upload your documentation and you get, once they approve it, you get an email and then you get a little purple confirmation screen. You'll show this on site before picking up your badge and they'll verify it. If you don't have it, again, you can show on site, but if you, for some reason, can't locate your email, you can just log back into that portal and enter your email and it will pull up your confirmation email. All attendees must be registered and badged at all times. And I added the note that this includes business meetings and receptions. We have been lucky in the past to be somewhat lenient and not requiring that, but given the health and safety situation of this year, we do need them to all be registered and badged. That's just to confirm again that that they're following the fully vaccinated policy we have in place. Next slide, please. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot of other things we're doing to make sure it's a healthy and safe event. We have masks are still required. In fact, Washington State is requiring them indoors for any public spaces. So the convention center and hotels are requiring them, and APSA is as well. And we had required them before they changed the policy. We have touchless badge printing. So you'll get a QR code you can scan on site and your badge will print out so you don't have to touch anything. We are still doing distancing in our rooms, frequent cleanings overnight. We have a mobile app and digital program. So there will not be a print program this year. One of the reasons is that we just wanted to eliminate some touch points. So we do have a very robust mobile app and we have a digital program we're working on that will be available. There will also be iPads at the registration area and the APSA lounge and enter information desk where people can look at a program if they need to, and then it's just easy for us to wipe off and clean. We also are offering the ability to participate in virtual sessions from on-site. All of our guest rooms and our sleeping room block have complimentary guest room Wi-Fi. Additionally, we've set aside rooms at each meeting location with posted hours in which individuals can find a table and chair and just participate in a meeting. We of course have Wi-Fi in our meeting space, but we would just ask that attendees, if they wish to do this, bring along a laptop and possibly a headset if they really want to talk or listen carefully. But we are spacing the tables out in those rooms as well, just to make sure we're following distancing. Next slide, please. Okay, any questions on the annual meeting? And then I think Casey probably will open it up to any general questions. No, that was a lot of information on the meeting. And as always, if you think of any questions, feel free to reach out to us at meeting@apsanet.org. Either Kristen and I were always on that email. We can get back to you pretty quickly.
Well, if anyone has any questions, please submit them. As Ashley said, if you have any membership questions, also please submit them to membership@apsanet.org, and we'll be sure to get them back to you. If you have any specific data requests for your section, please send them in sooner rather than later so we can make sure that they are answered before your business meetings. So Ashley, so is September 13th when the Zoom links for sessions will appear on the online program?
Technically the button is already there. We have to create all the Zoom links, or a vendor does yet. So that will take some time. September 13th might not be the exact date. It will be sometime that week. Again, you probably won't be able to access the Zoom room till the day of. If you have any questions about using Zoom or need assistance and how to use it, I'm happy to work with you and maybe scheduling a time to test out a room or something.
Great. Okay, well, thank you all for attending, and we will post the recording of this once it is edited in case you have any other colleagues that were interested. So thank you all for attending and have a great day.